Lights, camera, action. Let's start the show. Here's a little bit of wedding advice from me to help your love story unfold. Welcome back, lovebirds. This is your wedding series, and I am your wedding content creator. In today's episode, we are going to be playing another game of Keep It or Leave It. Now, some of you may have joined me for part 1, where I got a chance to talk about wedding traditions that are during the ceremony that people have decided to either keep or leave it behind, meaning they don't want to do that tradition anymore. They are kind of, moving forward and deciding, you know what, that doesn't really fit what we want. And so we are just not going to do it. And then some people are deciding, yes, we want to keep it. That's a really great tradition. And why change it? So in today's episode, we are in season 3, episode 14. And today's episode is going to be more focused on part 2 of Keep It or Leave It Wedding Tradition Edition. Wedding Traditions Edition. And this is going to be the wedding reception. So before, when we talked about the ceremony, we talked about traditions that are involved in there. And today we're going to be talking about the reception. This is, where we get to party and celebrate the 2 newlyweds now becoming one. And so this is the first time they get to celebrate and party and have a good time. But let's look at some of the traditions that people are doing and then look at if they're going to keep it or leave it. Now, you don't have to keep any tradition that you don't want to, and you don't have to throw out or leave it behind any tradition that you don't want to. This is just my advice. It's a really fun game. I get super excited about Keep It or Leave It. And so I hope that you do too. But I just decided to have a little bit of fun with these when it came to traditions that, I feel like, it needs a discussion. It needs a discussion at the very, very least. All right. So here we go. The very first one up. I'm going to be giving 4 of these today for you to ponder on and think about and decide if you're going to keep or leave for your own wedding. The garter toss. This is number 1, the garter toss. So we know that the bride will traditionally wear a garter underneath her dress on her leg. And the garter was a significant piece in the past because it helped to keep your stockings up and things like that. It had a purpose. It had a purpose. And now there's really no purpose to wearing a garter. It's kind of, people are saying, why are we even wearing this? And, then the tradition is that the gentleman takes off the garter, and now you are revealing the bride's leg during the reception, taking the garter off. And then the toss part of this is that all of the single men who attended this wedding will all get together in a crowd, and then the groom will toss the garter behind him, eyes closed or just looking, forward and then not looking back at them. Just kind of blindly tossing this garter, and whoever catches it, it's oh, it's your turn to get married. Okay. So that's the tradition. That's the tradition of it. And when you put it all, you talk about it out loud, it just sounds ridiculous. So this was definitely one that we did not keep. No, thank you. No way. So we left this behind, and this is up to you. Should you keep it or should you leave it? Something to think about, right? And you may have your reasonings, but I just don't think that this is a tradition that needs to stick around. It's just not classy. It's not classy. And that was the reason why we left it behind. But you may have other reasons why you want to keep it. You may have reasons why you want to leave it. I do want to hear what your reasoning is, though, for either one, and which one did you choose. So that's the first one. The second one is no grand exit. So we all know that at weddings, there is a grand entrance at a reception, right? So at the reception, the couple makes their grand entrance together and they're like introducing Mr. and Miss Potatoes. And so they come running out and everyone is clapping for them. Everyone is happy. Everyone is joyful, blah, blah, blah. And so, that's the grand entrance. But now people are starting to say, we don't need a grand exit. This is the send off. This is usually where people will throw rice or they'll blow bubbles or they'll have the sparklers. They'll have something, right? To send them off, and they make their grand exit out of there into the limo, into the carriage, onto a horse, and to their honeymoon. So they find a way to leave and everyone is saying goodbye, and it's quite sad but also very happy because you're so happy for them, but you're sad because you're like, oh my gosh, the party's over. So like, it's just really, really tough. And then they also leave and they're like the main guest of, they are the like main guest of this whole thing, right? Of the whole shebang, the whole celebration. So now they are gone and it's like, okay, well, that's sad. And so what people are doing instead of a grand exit is that they're just slowly kind of like making their way to the after party now. Instead of saying goodbye to everybody, they just kind of like, everybody starts packing up, including the bride and the groom, which I find very, very sad that they have to clean up a lot of times at their weddings now. Even at these big lavish ones, you'll see them like cleaning up and it's like, oh no, what are they doing? And so they should have everybody else doing that, and their staff. Where's the staff? All of a sudden there's no staff. But yeah, so they make their grand exit and a lot of people are like, no, we just really don't want to do that. People are trying to do more activities that just involves like everybody, but I don't really see how a grand exit is about inclusivity or not. Like, I don't know. I just think people are just throwing around that word like way too much, and it's kind of like just ridiculous. So back to it. The grand exit. Should you keep it or should you leave it? I have to say, I do actually like the grand exits. I think that they're beautiful. I think that they are amazing. I think that people are being very ridiculous by getting rid of the grand exit. Also, I just don't see a need to do a after party. You already at the reception. That is the after party. You just got married. The ceremony was amazing. And now this is the party after. So that's how I look at it, like I don't think like everybody else, obviously, and I have my own brain, and so I just don't think that getting rid of the grand exit is needed. I say keep that tradition. I say keep it. So yeah, for sure. The third one, untimed speeches. People are getting rid of untimed speeches. And so untimed speeches as a tradition, normally people just get up there, they talk. It's like, oh, who wants to talk? And then sometimes it's planned out. Sometimes the bride and groom have decided these are the people that we want to make a speech. And so now, instead of them being untimed, people have decided to tell the DJ, hey, you've got the mic also. So we need for you to tell people that they get 2 minutes. They get 2 minutes and you're done. So, you might have a bride and groom that might give you more and may give you less, but they're like, you know what? There's a time limit now. There's no more untimed speeches because they can go on forever and ever and ever. And so people don't want that at their weddings anymore because it's taking up too much time. They want more time for the celebration and to do other things. And so they're just kind of like, okay, no, this is out of here. This is done. We're not doing this anymore. So what do you think? Untimed speeches, keep it or leave it? Something to think about. Okay, untimed speeches, keep it or leave it. This fourth one really had more to do with me. I kind of threw this in as like I've been seeing this as a tradition now. People have been doing this at receptions as a tradition, and that is those photo booths. And you guys heard how I said it, those photo booths. Do you think that these things are necessary as like these staples at wedding receptions now, like photo booths? You know what I mean? Like people get in there and they like, it's not actually like a booth anymore. You're just standing in front of a wall and there's like a person there that takes the pictures for you, that like presses the button, or you press the button yourself or whatever. But now you're no longer in a booth. You're just out there and you grab a bunch of props and you take, funny pictures or serious pictures, whatever it is that your group decides to do. Or you by yourself. You can also like take them by yourself. And so, like, you hold up signs and words and things like that. And, like, what do you guys think about that? Like, I threw it in here because I'm seeing it so much. It may as well be a tradition now. Like, I'm seeing it at so many weddings. And you guys can hear the tone in my voice. I actually think that this needs to leave. I don't think photo booths are a tradition that needs to stay around, personally. I just don't. Everyone has a cell phone. There's photographer, videographer, your content creator is there. Look at all the media that we already have. Do we really still need photo booths at weddings? No, we don't even need that silly 360 photo booth thing either, okay? It's where like you stand there and the camera like goes around you. Okay, no. Like, people are just inventing the most ridiculous things and people are just falling for it. Like, I just don't think that this is necessary. I don't think it's necessary. Like, I don't think it's necessary. They can look kind of cool, but I just think it's another way to just get everyone's information, their cell phone number, and, send it to you. It's just not... So, for me, I say leave it. But I'm not sure what you guys think about this one. It's, you tell me. You tell me. Keep it or leave it. Now, I would say that on our next game of Keep It or Leave It, I would like to do this one on screen, and I want to do like a tier, maybe like a tier list type thing, something similar to those, like a tier thing. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about, but I may do this one on screen, on video, on camera, because I love the Keep It or Leave It games so much. And so I think I want to like spice up the game itself a little bit with like just moving parts on the screen. If you guys know what I'm talking about, like comment. Comment below. But this has been a really fun game of Keep It or Leave It. We are now at Be My Guest, the segment where I call Be My Guest here at the show on your Wedding Series podcast, where I am looking for guests to be on my show, to be on your Wedding Series podcast. If you have enjoyed today's rendition of Keep It or Leave It Part 2 with Wedding Traditions Reception Edition, let me know. I would love to have you here on the show. Are there some things that you've seen at receptions and you feel like they need to get rid of that, or why didn't they do that? So sometimes you'll go to a wedding, you're like, well, why didn't they do this part? Well, why didn't they do that part? I've gone to weddings like that and I was like, oh, I can't believe they did not do that. I know that people love like the father-daughter dance and the mother-son dance. Those are traditions that like you will usually see at like every wedding, even if it's like a tiny micro wedding, you will definitely see that. But if there is any traditions that you see all the time and you still think like, I don't know if they need to keep those around or leave them, I just want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on this whole like the wedding tradition stuff. And if you saw the wedding ceremony one and you want to talk about like ceremony traditions as well, we can talk about those ones too. It doesn't just have to be the reception. But first, send me an email, okay? Send me an email so that we can get the conversation started. And I'll send you over some interview questions to see if like we're a good fit to work together and hang out. And then we're going to record a video call together, like, split screen style, And then I'm going to put the video right here on your wedding series podcast to share with everybody. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. But send me an email first, okay, at yourcontentcreator@yahoo.com. And guess what, lovebirds? You already know what I'm going to say. You already know. That's the end of the episode. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, lovebirds.
Lights, camera, action, baby, strike a pose. Phones and cameras out, just watch it all unfold. We're the stars of the show, ain't no need for filters. Living life through the lens, capturing our thrills. Put away your phones and cameras, let the good times roll. Our content creators got it all under control. From weddings to events, parties, travel and brands, we're living the paparazzi life. It's all in our hands. Lights, camera, action, we're ready to go. We're professionals, don't you already know? From TikTok to Instagram, we're taking the lead. Content creator, we're planting the seed. Get ready for the social media explosion.